Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded anything IRL, but today I want to bring you a review and hear my opinions on the new anime movie out today, SPYxFAMILY Code White. So the movie officially released today, the day I'm filming this, April 19th in the US. There were some theaters, my local theater, that did have showings yesterday on the 18th. I watched it today. I watched the English dub version, not the regular Japanese version, because that's how I watch the anime. I also read the manga in English. So I'm coming from that perspective. I will be going into spoilers, well, light spoilers, and talking about the plot of the movie. But I will give you a warning before I go into that part. Before we get to that, I want to do some housekeeping. So there's some general information I want to give people. First thing being, if you're familiar with the franchise, the usual, at least for the English dub, I do believe this is true for the Japanese version, but at least for the English dub, all the original English dub voice actors reprised their roles for this movie. So there is no change or mix up of voice actors for the film. Like I said, I do believe that is true for the Japanese version as well. If you are coming to this video, whether you're watching the future or watching the day that it's uploaded, and you're interested in the movie and you're not familiar with the franchise, yes, there is a regular Japanese version with English subtitles, and there's an English dub version of the film. So you can go watch either one in theaters. Like I said, I watched the English dub version, but they shouldn't be any different. If you're familiar with the franchise, you'll know this already, or you should know this. If you're new to it, the anime follows the manga nearly one-to-one, and so there's not really much change when it comes to dubbing it. Some lines are a little different, but that just has to be that way for the English voiceover actor, and the mouth movement, what line will work. But there's not much different. It's not like any scenes or animation or anything like that is changed, just a different version, just like how it works for the anime from the manga. So with that out of the way, I want to head off some questions that people might have. So should you watch this movie if you're new to the franchise or not? I would say yes in both cases. This is a perfect introduction to the franchise. There's no prerequisite. So this movie is standalone, side story pretty much. It is not canon. It does not follow anything from the manga. There's not an adaptation in the manga or the anime. There will not be an adaptation into it. It is its own standalone movie for the franchise. It is the first movie of the franchise as well. And we don't know if there'll be future movies, but it does seem like those will probably be standalone too, so you don't necessarily need to watch this to probably watch those as well. So again, if you're watching this in the future, you're not missing anything. There was no prerequisite from the anime or the manga to watch this, and there won't be any in the future, so you're completely fine to watch this whether you are new to the franchise or not at any point. Now, I will know that the movie is only in theaters in the US for a week. After that, you would have to wait for some kind of release. The anime is available on Hulu and on Crunchyroll. Now, I cannot guarantee there will be a release on there, but some anime movies do get released. I assume some streaming service will have that because it's popular these days. And as popular as the anime is and the manga gets sales, I'm sure there will be a digital and physical release of the movie. It could just take a couple months when it does go. But seeing as the English dub was released the same day as the subbed version here in America, if there is a digital or physical release, I would assume that they would probably release at the same time over here in America and in the rest of the world. The film was released, like I said, today, April 19th, with some showings on the 18th. Originally, the movie was released in Japan in December. So if there was a release for a digital or physical, you probably could expect it would release there first, and then we'd probably get it soon after. Probably not as long as it takes for the film to release, but a lot of animes and stuff, there's not a set like schedule for that kind of thing. It just really comes down to a lot of factors. But I'm sure there will be one if you missed the movie in theaters, or it will be on streaming services. Again, though, with anime movies, most don't stay on there forever. So if you were watching this way into the future, your only chance or choice would probably be a re-upload or waiting for a physical or digital release. So with that out of the way, we have covered, some information about it, and some questions people might have, whether they should watch or not, if it's good for them. Also, if you're new to the franchise, or even if you're familiar with it, but really if you're new to the franchise, yes, this is a family-friendly movie. It is slice of life. There is humor to it, and there is action in the movie, just like there is in the manga and anime, but it is not gruesome or bloody in any way. It is completely fine. You can watch it with your kids. When I was in the theater, there was people there with their kids. It is completely fine. Completely family-friendly, to go watch it. If that is a question that you do have. I think I've covered most of the information that people might want to know before going to watch it. Now I want to get into like the plot again, talk about it a little bit. It will be some spoilers. This is your spoiler warning. If you don't want to hear anything about it, my opinions or anything, I would click off the video. But so let's get into it. So the movie is about 2 hours. The first half is slice of life, jokes, antics, that kind of stuff, as you would expect from the manga or the anime. And the second half is where all the action comes in. Now, before I get into plot details, I want to talk about the movie and how it looks. I think the movie looks beautiful. The animation is wonderful. It's pretty much, it feels like you're watching an episode of the anime. Now, I know that might sound like I said that in a bad way, but I do not mean it in a bad way. If you are familiar with a lot of other anime movies, take like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super movies, they always up the graphics and the animation to an extreme to make the movie look really slick and nice. Now, SPYxFAMILY Code White does look nice, but it feels like watching an episode of anime. You're not really taken out of that experience. You're not like realizing, oh, I'm watching a movie. The movie's going to be over soon. It feels like you're just watching another episode of the anime, just extended, like you're watching a 4-part episode or something. So I mean that in the best way. It's kind of weird how I describe it, but that's pretty much how it is. Now, there is one sequence in the later half of the movie that does change the animation style a little bit, and it gets a little weird, and then is also stepped up a notch when it comes to the scenes and the movements for the action, which in this movie, Yor gets a lot of action. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, so they do up it for the action. Now, on level of like goofiness, slice of life stuff is pretty much what you would expect from the anime or the manga. It's not like set to like a 15 or something like extreme. It's there. It's funny. Like I said previously, there's not like any references or anything to the anime or manga. So the jokes are just self-contained in the movie. Funny moments. If you watched any of the trailers and saw any of those lines, spoken, I mean, they make sense with the movie. We do get two little montage scenes of things that are going on. I'll explain a little bit more of that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, those are cool. Like I said, the set design looks great. The snowy village, they have this little snowy village. It looks wonderful. The outfits they have them wear, the coats and everything, it's different than normally what they wear in the anime or manga, and it does look wonderful. It all looks wonderful. And so, like I said, they spice it up for the action, and then they have one little dream sequence that is a little different in animation style, and then the rest of it looks like how the anime looks. So that's, I mean, in the best possible way. It looks wonderful, in my opinion. So with that, I want to start talking about the plot. So, like I said, the first half of the movie is like slice of life, antics kind of stuff. So we start off finding out that Anya, now you do get the background of the characters. So if you're familiar with the characters and the backstory, you won't be surprised here. If you're new to the franchise, you get all that info. So we learn that Anya for class has to make a dessert, and the judge of this contest is the headmaster, and the winner gets a Stella. Now, if you're new to the franchise, that is explained what that is and why it's important in the movie. If you're familiar with the franchise, you know why that's important. So, Lloyd being Lloyd, Ori has his research done on the headmaster and knows what his favorite dessert is. It just so happens that his favorite dessert, or a version of his favorite dessert, is only served at this particular restaurant in this tiny village in this snow region. So they decide to go away for the weekend, which takes them on a train to go to this area. Now, Anya being Anya gets into a little bit of trouble, and the antics start. And this thing that she does on the train is what tangles her, Lloyd, and Yor into the plot, and Bond, because they have Bond with them, the family dog, into the plot that happens with this colonel and his men. So it tangles them with them, but they don't know yet. So we're still early in the movie, and then so they get to this village. Like I said, it's a very beautiful design and everything. They get to this restaurant and they order the last piece of this dessert, and the colonel comes in and pretty much beats Lloyd in a contest to get this dessert. So the foragers have to come up with a way to get this dessert. The chef's not getting the ingredients to make more until after the weekend, so they decide to get the ingredients for this chef, and then we get like a little montage and events of them getting the ingredients. There is some other stuff that happens that I don't really want to get into because you should really watch the movie. I don't want to spoil too much. I'm just talking about like the major points that move the major plot along. So we get that, and so eventually, as it gets later in the day, Anya, because she is a telepath and can read minds, she knows that Operation Strix, which Lloyd is the lead agent on, there's a chance he could be removed from it if there's not been any substantial change or difference. You get this backstory in the movie, early in the movie, and so to try to get the Stella, which might be the only way to get more progress in the mission, and so that Anya's found family, they're supposed to be like a fake family, but she truly does love Lloyd and Yor, decides to leave the hotel. Being Anya, leaves the hotel, goes to get this last ingredient, does that successfully, but then gets kidnapped by this colonel's men. And so this pretty much starts the second half of the movie, where we start getting action, where Yor and Lloyd have to go save Anya. And what I find funny is there's one scene where Lloyd has to get this plane, because of course he knows how to fly a plane, right? He's the best agent in the West. And Yor sneaks onto this plane because Lloyd does tell her to stay back, but Yor does sneak onto this plane, rides in like the undercarriage part of this plane, and eventually the colonel tries to shoot them down. Like I said, this starts all the action, and they have to crash into the plane to get onto this like blimp, right? So that happens, and like I said, the second half of the movie is full of action. There is still antics and jokes here and there, but that goes on. So, and I do believe I mentioned before, but Yor really gets a lot of action in this movie. Lloyd does do stuff, but Yor gets a lot of stuff, and I will talk about that. So they're on this like blimp now, and they're trying to save Anya, and they've done damage to this blimp, and everything. Now, suffice it to say, Anya accidentally swallows something that the colonel wants, and he wants to use it to start war between the West and the East, something you learn about. And this is the mess they get entangled with. Now, a joke that some people honestly might say is pressed a little too far is that the colonel has to wait for Anya to pretty much poop this thing out, and then he plans on killing her. So to stop her from being killed, Anya fights the urge of poop, and they keep making a joke about how to poop her pants, like not poop her pants. And as we get this like really, when she gets really desperate, we get this really weird dream sequence kind of thing. And that's where the animation, what I was talking about earlier, where the animation kind of changes style a little bit for this weird dream sequence. I think I'm kind of making it sound worse than it is, but I really don't want to like overly describe it because it's not like extremely gross or bad, but some people might think that the jokes push a little too far, because between all the scenes where you're flashing back and forth from the different characters' perspective in this, it's like, you know, they might have pushed it a couple of minutes more than it really needed. But anyways, it's an integral part of, they made it an integral part of the plot. So, I mean, it's not like it's unnecessary. So, like I said, we get jokes and hijinks, and Anya's being Anya, and you get funny moments. I mean, it's crazy. I don't want to get too much into it, but yes, you should go watch it. It is funny. And towards the end of the movie, this might sound a little weird, but Yor has to fight like this super soldier, kind of like a part machine, you know, soldier. Kind of reminds it kind of like something out of like maybe like a Resident Evil fight, if that means anything to you, like maybe when Jill faces Nemesis. It sounds a little weird, but if you watch the movie and you're like a Resident Evil fan, you'll kind of get what I mean by that a little bit. But it is super cool. And the action is put up to like 15, right? And then the animation is great. The action's all great. And like I said, Yor especially gets a lot of action in this movie. And I mean, it is just fantastic. It is great up until the end. It is just excellent. So they're, you know, defeating all these people. You get hijinks. Eventually, they defeat the colonel and all his men. They save Anya. They have to stop this blimp from crashing into a city. And so they pretty much crash into a lake. And this is pretty much the end of the movie. And then as with most anime movies, it does have just a happy ending that wraps everything up, because it is a self-contained, pretty much side story. It's not canon to the manga or the anime. It's not going to be told, adapted to the manga and the anime. So it finishes up with a nice bow, finishes everything. That's pretty much it. Again, I do highly recommend the movie, and I'm purposely leaving out little details here and there so that you can enjoy it. Because I know what it's like when people spoil things. And I know I give you a warning, but I really don't want to spoil it. Because even if you go watch it and I said it, you should still see it for the first time for yourself. But yeah, that's pretty much in the movie. I thought it was excellent. If you ask me personally, I would rate it 10 out of 10. I know that sounds high, but I really don't see any problem with the movie. I mean, it does look beautiful. The animation is great. The action is great. The slice of life stuff is great. I mean, it's cute and adorable. The outfits are great. They're cute. Good moments between Yor and Lloyd. I mean, it's all great. There's only two things I could see a problem. The thing I talked about the little weird dream sequence, some people might say goes a little further than it needs to be. And then the only complaint I've seen online is that people who feel like maybe there should be more action or less action, or more slice of life or less slice of life, or one of the parts be sped up, which is a fair complaint. You know, some people with the whole franchise like it balanced like it is. Some people like more of the action. Some people like more of the slice of life. Now, me personally, I don't mind having, because the movie's nearly 2 hours. I think I did say that earlier, but I wouldn't mind having a 2 hour, slice of life with minimal action. But that's me personally. I don't watch many action anime, but I don't think it's over the top here. I mean, you get pretty much half and half. So if you like the action, I don't want to say it's over the top, but it's more than what it is in the anime. You get a lot of it. And if you like the slice of life, I mean, it's just sweet. I mean, there's very sweet, adorable moments with the family. It's great. You will enjoy it. And I do recommend it to everybody. If you're new to the franchise or not, I would recommend it. If you've never watched it, it's a perfect introduction into the franchise, or if a friend invites you to go, I would go watch it. You'll enjoy it. And if you don't, no time lost. There's no prerequisites, and maybe you'll enjoy it and you'll get into it. And if you do enjoy it, since there's no prerequisite to watching it, you can go read the manga or watch the anime. Again, anime is available on Hulu and Crunchyroll. There's 2 seasons, 37 episodes. You can watch it dubbed or subbed. So there's many ways to watch it. You can watch it in either language. You can watch it subbed or dubbed. You have options. And like I mentioned, the anime does follow the manga pretty much one for one. So you could read it and watch it, or one or the other, whether you prefer. But you will get the full experience. And the movie is pretty much the same content as the excuse me, it's pretty much the same content with the wholesomeness and, you know, just sweet moments with the goofiness that you get in the manga and the anime, and also with the action. It's just more of it here because you have nearly 2 hours and nearly an hour of both. So altogether, it's a great package. Like I said, I don't see people having much problem with it, except for if they like one action or not over the other. You know, if they like one thing or another, they might have a problem with having such an extended part of the other. But it's pretty much fair, you know, split how they do it. Again, I'd recommend it. 10 out of 10 for me. I think you should go watch it. Again, it's a perfect introduction into the franchise. Or if you like the franchise, it's just more of it. You should enjoy it. And you can watch it with your kids. I would say expect a digital or physical release in the future, or at least to be on streaming services. I would pretty much guarantee if it's on a streaming service, you'll be able to watch it on Crunchyroll. Not necessarily sure about Hulu, but it should be on Crunchyroll. That's pretty much all I have to say. Thanks for watching this video. I know it's a little longer, but I really wanted to go into this stuff and give you what I consider a thorough review. I'll catch you guys next time for another video. I do gaming, and I do the occasional review. I don't do reviews too much, but sometimes I do when I really enjoy something. Again, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then, bye.